Hi, Alpha Capital Channel, Planty here. Another trader interview for you today. It's going to be a great one. One of our female traders is with us, and we love these because not enough of you come on. There's some great female traders out there. We want to see you. Today we have got Doey Ragborn, and I believe that you've had a bit of an up and down journey in this, and I want to hear all about it. So let's start at the beginning, as we say. How and where did you get into trading?
Okay, so my journey basically started about 8 years ago now, and I purely got into it. I'm pretty sure I just saw some random person doing it on the internet.
Right.
And I think this is when it really started blowing up on social media. So it wasn't like you saw every single person doing it. So when you did see these people doing it, you kind of bought into it. Whereas now you're a lot more wary of what's out there.
It was like the new thing.
Yeah, this is like the new thing. You know, it was all flashy and it was like you can make money from your phone. But yeah, I had like no financial mathematical background or anything like that.
What were you doing at the time?
What was I doing? I think I literally was working in recruitment.
Right.
So yeah, I never heard of it before, but I was really, really intrigued, surprisingly, when I started like kind of learning a little bit about it.
And you were looking to do a side hustle, as it were?
Yes, but when I first started, it was kind of like these copy and paste companies. So, they really sell you the dream. It's like, you're literally just going to copy my stuff
Sure.
and you'll be a millionaire next month. So, I went full on, not even understanding what a lot size was, not understanding risk management and not understanding the whole concept of anything really. And obviously like these guys, they don't tell you about that either. So I had quite a bad start. Right. And I think when you have a bad start, you know what it feels like to lose money.
Hurts.
Yeah. It definitely hurts. And, it wasn't making any sense because I was seeing them make money and me not really understanding, I'm trading with like 100 quid. They're telling you, you can trade with £100. I'm putting every single trade on, and I'm just not getting it. So I decided, as you probably most people would, it's a scam, it's not real. But I feel like with trading, it's something that's always just crept back into my life.
It's a bug, isn't it? You can't get rid of it.
I was like, you know what, I can't do this because I think it was a good year of trying. Like I said, literally still not knowing anything about risk management or anything like that. So I had a very, very rocky start. I would make it. I think it's one of them things where with signals, you kind of get those big wins and it draws you in. I always describe it like a toxic relationship. Like the highs are highs. The highs are highs, but when it's bad,
Yeah, big time.
So you kind of hold on to those highs. But anyway, I decided I probably had a bit of a break. But I then got approached by a network marketing company who specialised within the trading industry, and what they were selling was the education.
Right.
So this is when I started learning about it. So I suppose this was where I learned how to trade. Still not really understanding risk management though. Still not understanding it was anything to do with your mindset and stuff like that. And I was in a very different place in my life. Like I was really struggling for money. So me going into trading, I didn't have a good mindset. I was
you're desperate.
I was desperate to make this work. At the time, I was with someone who had a gambling addiction as well. So, the money stuff was not good for me. Yeah. So I was learning how to trade on these demo accounts, smashing it. As soon as I go live, I'm still losing.
Yeah, and the first time you lose,
still losing. So I'm thinking, well, I know how to trade now. And I'm still losing. And this is, again, me not understanding risk management or, FOMO trading, revenge trading, all of that stuff.
I was going to say, what was your reaction?
Yeah,
so diving straight back in.
I just thought, well, this is obviously a scam. Like, now I know how to trade. Like, I still can't do it. So, I'm getting all these battles with it. So I was like, I'm done with trading. So, go off. I start another business, got into beauty. So I own a beauty company.
Oh, wow.
That went really, really well.
Where are you based?
In Reading.
Okay. And online as well, or is it?
Yeah, so we're online. It's Sienna Beauty. Like I said, it's a completely different industry. was really, really enjoying that. I ended up opening my own salon at one point. But yeah, the thing is with that is that you physically have to be there to make money. And I think for me, one of my goals has always been to, make money from wherever so that I could travel and
you're totally mobile.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there was just something missing with the beauty industry for me.
Got that little figure on your shoulder.
Yeah, there was. I was still seeing certain people trade, and one of my good friends, we stayed in contact, and I know that he started to trade and he launched a business, and we got back in contact, and I was like, it's trading again. It's here again. And I was like, God, like why does this keep coming back round?
It's a sign.
Yeah, it was a sign because last year I had a little girl, so she's now six and a half months old.
What's she called?
Maya. She's a great girl, but becoming a full-time mum obviously meant I couldn't work in the salon.
Yeah.
So this was for me something that I was like, I have to do something because I would say, like, I'm not like a workaholic, but I enjoy business. Like, I enjoy doing something for myself. So
it's perfect mix.
I got pulled back in again. But this time round, I feel like I'd learned a lot from all those mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm also a very different person to who I was 8 years ago, because I'm 28 now and obviously being 20 at the time.
Different cycle, isn't it?
Different cycle,
Different responsibilities.
Exactly. So I was not so much a reflective person, whereas now everything that I do, especially, after opening up a business, having to be reflective and seeing where those mistakes are, I was able to do that with trading. So I started trading alongside with my friend who had the education company, the Money Wi-Fi Club, which they're absolutely amazing. But what I started to figure out was I needed to find a strategy that worked for me around my life.
And this is rather than this on the shelf.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not there.
I realised that, this wasn't about money. This was about getting good at this skill and creating an edge and a strategy that works for you instead of what
takes care of itself. Doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. So I, been spending the last year figuring that out and basically going back to basics, which, within the past year, that's what I've been focusing on, and I've really, I guess, fallen in love with trading now.
Brilliant.
After a journey. It has been a love-hate relationship. But I think when you realise and take that step back and realise, actually, you got to look at yourself.
Yeah.
And when I finally did that, and it was a hard realisation, because it was always like, oh, it's too volatile, it's the markets, this is going on or that's going on. And, I still struggle with that now, but at least I'm so much more aware and we're on the right track finally. But I think my journey made me so passionate about trading in general, because it hasn't just, changed my life in the obvious ways, but it's changed my life in my mindset, who I am as a person. And like I said, I was working alongside with somebody and I was helping other people, and it just made me realise, like, so many people could benefit from this.
Hugely, yeah. You say it's all about finding the balance, and it's ownership. And
yeah.
Sort of, when you're in a world where a lot of people aren't there to help you at all.
Yeah.
You either say the find community, but within yourself, you find that discipline.
Yeah.
You have to follow certain things. So you mentioned you're back to basics.
Yeah.
What is a back to basics for you then? What do you?
So I feel like I've gone round and done every single course out there.
So you're the absolute expert.
Confused. I think I wouldn't even say that, because I think when you've taken too much information, you just get overwhelmed and confused.
Analysis, paralysis.
And then you just think, I don't know what I'm doing at all. And I think the way that my mind works is I'm very simple, and I like to keep things very simple.
Right.
Like sometimes I see traders and their charts are looking crazy with loads of, just everything.
Well, I know I like to present all the options to people. I'm trying to teach people.
Yeah,
there's this option, there's that option.
Whereas
but
for
like
me,
say, if you're trying to focus in on something, you want to keep clarity.
And I think it's really important to focus on one thing at a time, because that, again, when I went through that stage of needing to learn everything and not believing in myself. And I think that kind of came from the start of this journey being so rocky. It was very hard for me to think that I was good enough.
We're always thinking, what would those people be thinking of me? And I'm not, if I'm not doing that strategy the right way.
Yeah, exactly.
When, as you said, that's not going to suit. It's not going to suit your time
But
frame,
that's what I mean.
your availability.
And I think the one thing that I love about trading is it's all about perspective. There is no real right or wrong as long as you're profitable at the end of the day. But so many people get very wrapped up in, you know, all of this terminology to sound cool, basically.
Well, most of the time it's there to like confuse you, isn't
yeah,
it?
exactly.
And to mean that you can charge you more commissions.
Yeah,
it's just to get in the way.
I think as soon as I stripped it back down, things changed for me. And then for me to start realising, like, I have to make this work for me. I have to get to know me as a person, because what works for me might not work for someone else. You know, I was learning a strategy where, you know, you're taking like 5+ trades a day. For me, it doesn't suit me. And now I've really got to know myself and the things that I struggle with. Like, I never really thought I was a greedy person, but greed is something that I massively struggle with. So me being in the market that much, it's triggering me. So for me, I have to stop at two trades. Right. Otherwise, you know, and I just think, like, there's nothing wrong with that, because I hear other people like, you should never stop, you should never, you know, hold yourself back. But again, it's just dependent on
this is really refreshing, by the way. Anyone that's watching, this is really honest, quality stuff, because you get all this nonsense, and I forgot the old you versus you special that everyone drags out. It really, you can't get any more plain and simple than that. It's got to
exactly.
be you.
And I think, you know, like I said, people get very wrapped up in, I think, you know, the way that trading looks online is very flashy. Yeah. It's very cool. Whereas when people ask me, like, how I trade, they want me to tell them, like, some big formula, big secret, when it's just like, when I tell them how simple I trade and how much I've stripped it back, they're like, is that it? You know,
right, come on then, let's hear it. What do you do? What is stripping back? What do you trade? And what strategies do you use?
So I love gold. It's been a lot. I love gold. It has been a love-hate relationship. But I always revert back to gold. Currently do only trade Forex. I want to start with futures as well, but currently gold.
I think you'll find futures useful for gold. Yeah. Because there's a lot of fundamentals behind it.
Exactly.
But also you can trust the price more rather than CFDs, different prices all over.
Yeah.
Because it's so volatile and the spreads are wide.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I kind of reverted back to gold as, you know, my main focus, because I think it's really important that you do master one thing at a time. I kind of trade, if nothing's coming through on gold, you know, Euro USD, just the kind of basic currency pairs. But
we're having a 1-year-old, 6-month-old?
6.5.
Do 6.5 years?
No, 6.5 months.
Yeah, I thought you said that. So you must be restricted on times that you can trade.
Yeah. So at the moment, it's pretty much pre-London. I was actually up at this morning at 2 o'clock. Or again, I was going to say, you get a chance to trade Asia. Yeah, I was up at 2 o'clock this morning looking at the Asian session, because it's actually been a very good market recently. Yeah. So I quite like the idea of getting everything done and then just having my day. Right. So I'm not, you know, I'm not against that idea. So I'm looking into that. But yeah, it's very difficult, because I have friends who are like, you know, they're sending me, what do you think about this? And it's like midday. I'm like, I can't look at the charts because I've been there where I'm trying to multitask in the middle of things. You know, I've been with people, I'm looking at the charts and trying to talk to them. I'm like, just hold on a sec.
And you're getting annoyed because you can't look at it properly.
Yeah.
Nobody wins.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, time is limited, and that's why I say, you know, you have to find something that you have to make it suit you, not just what everyone else is doing. And there's, like I said, there's no real right or wrong, as long as you're profitable at the end of the day, and it doesn't put you through lots of stress. Because that was the other thing. At one point I was profitable, but I was very stressed. And then I thought, you know, being a new mum and dealing with all the things that I deal with, I don't need something else that is going to give me anxiety throughout the whole day.
Yeah, I totally get you. I know. I have all that, and then I go and play golf, snooker, and cricket, which are 3 mind-blowing sports. It's like that's such a relaxing. You know, you've got, so, given that you've got a child, have you got any way of getting away from it all at the minute? What do you do to escape?
Yeah, it's been a bit tough really in that area.
Yeah, so you've got to just you've got to keep the stress to a minimum.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And I think, you know, that's why again I've become so. I'm not going to say, I feel like the word obsessed sounds like really aggressive, but I love trading. And I feel like, you know, if I can get myself into a good place, you know, I can take her on holiday, we can have the weekends, because obviously the market's not open at the weekends, we can do things, you know. So
you said obsessed, but do you not think, and from everything I've heard from you so far, you've become more professional about it. You've had a business.
I just love
you
it.
Treat this as a business, don't
exactly.
You,
and I think that's the thing, like
you can't be halfway house.
No.
And that's something else that's coming across. You're either in or you're not.
That's what I think that's my personality in general. So again, I think with trading, it's actually got me to know myself a lot better. You know, I've seen maybe some weaknesses, but
I'm just enjoying watching your face as you're talking about this, because you can see that it really has.
It's been a journey. It's been such a journey, and you don't realise you're on that journey until you actually look back over it. You think, wow, like.
When you say journey, and you weren't that profitable, did you lose a lot of money as a result? Or
I would say.
Another psychological stick.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why within the past year I've struggled, because I lost a lot of money, and I kind of explain it in the way, you know, if you've had like an abusive relationship or something, and you go into a good one, you're not going to go in the same as someone who maybe has never scarred, you're scarred. So I did go through a phase of, and I still do sometimes, where I get scared to trade, because that trauma sneaks in.
You've obviously been reading my books.
I think it's so important that we voice these things for beginner traders coming in, because like I said, that's become a passion of mine now, to actually help beginner traders at the beginning part of their journey.
It's a classic, because the 2 skills are knowing when not to trade, which hardly anyone tells you about.
No, because it's all about.
And then the other side is getting everything totally set up, not doing it and watching it win. Yeah. And then you go and put it on and you lose. Yeah. It's like, what's going on? Who have I upset? And that is a big thing to get over, isn't it?
Massive.
As long as you know that you're creating a system for yourself.
Exactly.
You can go back to it with confidence, but we're all going to have, even the best traders, they're lying to you when they say that they don't have the same issues. Yeah.
And this is the thing, like I've known quite a lot of traders, and I know a lot of their stories, and more recently I've kind of been a lot more active on my socials, and people have been saying things like, why would I learn from you if you've just lost money? And for me, I'm like, why would you not? Why would you not learn from my mistakes so that you should?
Because that's the classic way of learning. They're not, it's not mistakes.
It's a learning curve. You know, like I've learned from them. Other people can learn from them, because I actually kind of fell into teaching because I was helping my friend, and she really struggled with, you know, all the terminology of it. And I think this is why I became so passionate now about building my female community, because a lot of my girls are like, I would have loved to do it, but I would never approach these guys. It looks really complicated.
They make it slightly aggressive.
Yeah, they're very aggressive. Like, because when I started, they were, because I would ask for help and they were like, no. It's kind of sink or swim. Whereas I think with women, there is a bit more of a softer approach when it comes to business and teaching, you know, that you've got that kind of feminine touch to it. So recently I've had a lot of women coming forward saying, I really want to learn how to do this, but, you know, it just looks so complicated. Like I said, everyone makes it seem very, very complicated. And that's just.
But there's a way of cutting through it.
Yeah, and I think that's.
And do you look at fundamentals and data, or you just?
So that fundamentals, I do look at it, but it's never something that I've done even kind of outside of trading. So I'm someone that kind of avoids the news a lot, because it's a very negative space, isn't it?
Well, it really can be. There's a massive bias in a lot of channels, aren't there? So
exactly.
If you don't know that, you're going to be taken down a path.
But I do want to learn more about that, because especially because I trade things like, you know, gold.
Yeah, which is all moves on all the fundamentals.
It's fundamentals and
'cause
emotion.
that's one of the reasons I like gold. Because it is a fundamental as well as quite a pure. When the physical's not involved, it's a very classic technical market. So
exactly.
So it's fun to trade when in those periods when it's very nice until it becomes evil.
Yeah.
So I'm interested. So you've got a community of female traders. Tell me more. This sounds brilliant.
So it's actually called Back to Basics.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Back to Basics FX, because I felt like that was the turning point for me. Going back to basics, and I found teaching my girls, they needed it stripped back.
And that helps you cement it as well.
Massively. It also holds me accountable, because like I said, my biggest challenge, I would say, with trading has been the psychological side and getting stuck in your own head, not having anyone to talk to, because it is a very male-dominated industry, which is nothing wrong with it, but I've never really had anyone to talk to about these things.
So that whole premise of win rate, if you're anywhere near 50%, you're doing amazing.
Yeah.
But you feel like a failure when you come into something, and that is, in most industries, that is not a way that you win, is it? You need to be 70, 80.
Exactly.
And you can actually be 30, 40 with the right discipline.
Yeah, it's like I said, currently, where it is very male dominated, it can seem like a very aggressive industry. And that's why I created Back to Basics, because it was literally just stripping it back to the basics and showing you how to kind of get through the noise.
What I love about talking to people like you and other traders in this sphere, because I've come the other way from institutional and in this really aggressive where the women are scarier than the men.
I was going to say.
but as you alluded to earlier, there's so much in the way, so much noise and confusion, deliberately so, that it is refreshing to see people approach it and strip it back and go, that's all nonsense, I'm not even interested, because it is designed just to con people to part with their money.
But that's what I mean, and I think I read a book by Tom Hogarth, I think it's The Best Loser Wins. That's one of my...
A lot of people talk about that on my chat.
It's probably one of my favourite books, because I had a lot of light bulb moments in it. You know, he kind of said the stats of, 95% of traders lose. So why do we trade like 95%? Why are we going down this route of complication and all these things that technically is put out there so that you can lose money?
It's classic, because again, as you say, if you're talking to the beginners, 95% of people lose overall. But within that, you're winning and losing. And it's a case of realising that you can get there. There is that opportunity. It's just a lot of it's stacked against you.
Exactly.
It's to get the right hand, isn't it? So.
It's been a fun journey, and I feel like I'm very much technically at the beginning of it, because I've kind of come out the trenches.
Never stop learning, trust me.
No, that's what I mean. Like it's never ending with the challenges, the personal growth, and I think for me, before having my own business, I mean, I could never really stay in one job for a year, because I'm just that type of person that needs a lot of challenge, but not necessarily challenge in the work that I'm doing, but challenge within myself. And again,
so it's not negative. You're trying to progress yourself. You're upskilling.
Exactly. So that's why I think with trading, this is just the beginning, and I'm really, really excited. Like I said, I feel like I've kind of just come out the trenches. I'm not nowhere near where I want to be, but we're on the right track.
Yeah, and you said the next stage, and where, like I said, the big light bulb moments come from, is when you then get that fundamental overlay. Once you get time, you can't force it. It's just like the technicals. It takes time to learn, doesn't it? And it takes time to learn the fundamentals, and when eventually they sit together, that'll open up even more challenges, which I'm sure from the sound of it, you're going to go down that road at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
So what have you been doing win-wise then? How can you say, have you been having good successes?
I would say the last kind of 6 months has been, for me, just really refining that strategy, because until this year, this is the first time that I was really using prop firms. I've always traded my live money.
Oh, wow. So that's... you should have started with that, because that is an even harder psychological skill.
Exactly.
It's money, not just losing, it's money gone.
Real money, yeah. But yeah, I would say now I have found a strategy that works really, really well for me. And yeah, I've cut back the amount that I trade, but my win ratio has gone up massively. And now it's just about executing, because I think...
And have you changed your technical strategy that you're using?
Yeah, because I used to, use multiple different strategies, whereas now I'm simple price action.
Right.
I've really got to know, again, like I said, what my personality is like.
And when you say price action, what are you actually doing?
Breakouts. Right. So I'm purely candlesticks pretty much.
So you're literally you're having to watch the trades.
Yeah, I'm a scalper.
Yeah. I always go back to people, when you're struggling, just go and spend half a day watching the actual action.
And
you'll start to see where the limits are. People talk about the order blocks and filling in gaps and stuff. You'll see it. And you'll see when someone's moved their limit.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. And like I said, I'm a very reflective person. So I like reacting to the market rather than predicting. Yeah. Because I used to try and predict it. With all these,
if that doesn't sit with your psychology,
it doesn't seem to sit
with losing on something you're not comfortable with.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas with price action, I feel like I'm just reacting to it in real time.
You own it because it's a decision made on everything you've seen.
Yeah, exactly. And you can kind of follow those simple systems or steps that you kind of put in place. But like I said, for me, I want to be in and out of my trades quite quickly at this stage in my life. It's not that way forever, but
exactly.
just circumstances right now. I don't want to feel anxious because I'm in a trade all day. I want to be in and out of the market, and like I said, I like being reflective, so I like observing the market, seeing how it moves when it gets to certain areas, picking up those candlestick patterns. And I feel like something in me just switched with it. Instead of working against it and being biased all the time, it was purely just what the market was telling me. And I feel like it leaves clues. So
this is like, to Rutger, for him it was a big game plan. He wanted to learn the rules, how to play. And it's a real attraction, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's something that you should be able to conquer, but you're playing against everyone else. And I always try to say to people, you say there's 20 different kinds of traders. They're all doing something at the same time. So you can't expect one strategy to win all the time, because by definition it's not going to be the predominant one, is it?
Exactly.
But if you can find periods where you can find one, it's down to you, isn't it?
And I think since doing that, when I do take a loss, I don't feel as bad, because like I said, it's a loss,
But it's expected now. You understand that it's part of the process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas I really struggled with the emotion of it before. Whereas now, if it, I execute the plan. If it goes my way, it goes my way. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I've executed it by ticking all the boxes.
Yeah, you've owned it. You've done the right thing. So you know that process will work.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to understand that losses are part of the game. And when they do come, because they're in a controlled way, it doesn't hit you as hard.
Yeah, it's when you start messing around with it.
Yeah,
and trying to force a win.
Yeah,
that's the hard thing to learn.
Yeah, 100%.
And still make those mistakes.
And even now, like every day is a battle with that psychology, of those bad habits.
Yeah, let it loose.
And also, being around other traders who are constantly trading, it makes you feel like, I need to be in the market. I need to find an opportunity. Whereas, sometimes you just got to strip it back. You need to block out the noise.
I know, 'cause I'm finding it hard these days because I'm now intraday having to look at everything to tell everybody what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm talking myself out of what I'd normally. I'd have identified it, ticks every box, and that's where the bias is. Just put it on.
Yeah.
But whereas now I'm trying. But you've got to be careful because this could happen and that. As a trader, you've got to be able to focus and stick to whatever your strategy is.
Which is like I said, really, really hard in a world of noise with so many things that work for so many other people that you, like I said, like I even now, like I said, still struggle. It's still a work in progress, but that's why I think this is the beginning of the journey. What
the hell's it been like trading since Trump got in? What do you think about him and Musk? Does it?
Yeah, it's brought a lot of volume, and I've actually quite enjoyed it.
Right.
Because like I said, ever since I have purely focused on price action, I don't try to predict what's going to happen.
You're just reacting, and there's such a lot of volatility.
Yeah, and because of the strategy that I use, which is the breakout, at the moment with gold is brilliant for me. Yeah. Whereas I know a lot of people are struggling with it because, you know, it gets to an area and they're like, it has to come down or it has to go up, and it
doesn't have to. It doesn't have likely to. But it just, I think AI or something is all over gold because there's been so many classic TA setups that have been broken.
But this is what I mean.
Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah,
like you said, if you're a momentum trader that goes with it, happy days.
Exactly. So I've actually been loving it, and I think for me that again was another light bulb moment of, you know, I need to stop trying to fight against the market and just go with it. Yeah. You know, I don't want to.
That is a hard skill to have, you know.
Oh, 100%.
And the more you know as well.
Yeah.
As you alluded to.
That's what I mean, because I was struggling with it, but
really
then
strong discipline you've got there.
Yeah, I like I said, I just had to cancel out the noise. I had to just get rid of all these indicators that were confusing me, and this saying this thing and that saying that thing, and just go with what I can see. And I think in a market like this, it works really, really well.
Superb. Glad to hear it, and I hope you keep going.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
So, Alpha Cap family, I hope you enjoyed that, because we've gone on for a long time there because we've enjoyed it so much. It's been brilliant. And that shows you, Doey, some fantastic insights into trading world. If it's a hard start, keep at it.
Yeah.
You know, learn as much as you can, stick in the game, and hopefully you'll find your place. And it is really all about finding your own way in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Fantastic. You stick with it. It's a fantastic story. Thank you for talking to us today.
Amazing. Cheers.